You are living in a chaotic period, and this is a space where creativity and social constructs collide, and the culture embraces it. I welcome you all to the Chaos Zone. This is Chaotic Culture with Ked the Pro. Proceed with caution. Good morning. It's been quite the interesting week, but if this is your first time joining us, I want you to know that this podcast is a fairly interesting podcast, to say the least. So for the first time hearers, I thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Chaotic Culture. Of course, my name is Ked the Pro. I'm going to be my host, and I got my co-host back with me, my boy Law.
What's good, bro?
Yeah. Well, we back in it. So, episode 3, I kind of did a solo episode for myself just to, kind of vent my frustrations on, what was going on in our community, as well as some things about myself. But, now me and Law are back in the building. So we just wanted to go ahead and get this rolling. So for those who have been listening for the last couple of episodes, I thank you for your continued support, and I hope that we touch on some subjects that are going to be relatable to you, as well as some things that just make you feel good. And hopefully, if you got any feedback, just feel free to message us. You know how to reach me, Ked the Pro. That's K3D the Pro on Instagram, as well as Chaotic Culture Pod. I'll let Law plug his Instagram in if he wants, some feedback or anything like that.
I ain't gonna hold you. I don't got that remembered off my top of my head, so I'm gonna just leave it there. You can look it up, Lawrence Suggs. You feel me? That's me.
All right, I'll probably plug him in a little bit later. So, with that, just a couple questions, man. So, again, it's been a couple of weeks since we last recorded, so I just wanted to, get a daily checkup on and see how things been going for you, man.
It's been kind of crazy, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, but I've been good. You feel me? I made it 2 weeks later type. I ain't gonna complain. You feel me? I will say that mental health is a great thing to check into and making sure that this is squared away. So if you feel that you need an outlet or you feel that you need someone to talk to, if confiding in your friends and family isn't enough, I will say definitely seek out a second or third party outlet to talk about what it is that you're feeling or dealing with, because it's too much that we dealing with nowadays.
I agree wholeheartedly, man. Since episode 3 for me, I'm right there with you, to be honest with you. I always recommend, like, if you need to see a therapist, you need to talk to a pastor or anybody whose profession is within mental health, definitely take advantage of that. Because honestly, man, sometimes we just need that breakthrough, and we need other people to supply that breakthrough for us, or at least help us get to that point. We can only do but so much on our own. So that's all that it comes down to, but we made it through. We made it through another week. We've seen what our community is going through right now. We see the different effects that it's having on us as a people, especially Black people. So, you've heard the commentary throughout these last 3 episodes. So, if you want to hear our opinions on that, you can definitely check out the other episodes. But we're definitely going to, delge and divulge a little bit into that as well today. But today is a different episode.
Hello.
Because we have guests.
What? Yo, who it is?
So, a little background for these 2 young ladies that are actually here with us today, at least from my perspective. So I have met them, of course, when they were on the campus of Hampton University. At that point, I met Nasa, I think, probably a year after I graduated, and then I met Ari the very next year. So getting to know these 2 women, they have voices.
Hello.
They have voices.
Say it again.
When you hear them saying "trust me," it's one of those things where you're just like your mind is blown. I promise you, and I'm gassing them up all the way because they absolutely deserve it. So, with that being said, I have to introduce my friends here. I have Ari and Nasa.
Hi
guys.
Peace and love.
Yes, GVGVO, good vibes only. Yes.
Good vibes only.
Yes.
So I gotta tell my perspective a little bit, just how I met you guys. So just give a little background about who you are and what you're interested in and things like that. It doesn't have to be a minute; it can be 30 seconds, it can be 5 minutes, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. Well, my name is Chinasa, but everybody calls me Nasa. And if anybody who's hearing me right now, follow me on Instagram at _call me Nasa. Yeah. Okay. I went to Hampton. Obviously, I know KJ and this beautiful lady next to me, Ari, and of course Law. I'm just at this point, honestly, right now, I'm just kind of just like going with the flow and just enjoying life at the moment. So,
Word.
Just kind of keeping my feet steady and just taking it day
Hey,
by day.
we don't blame you. We don't blame you.
Taking it day by day. That's really all I can say. Like
Hey, and I don't fault you for taking it day by day because I mean, honestly, sometimes that's the way that we have to roll. One step at a time, one day at a time.
Yeah.
Ari.
Hey y'all, my name is Ari Lachelle. You can follow me on Instagram at ARILASHELL. I am from Detroit, but I represent both Detroit and Atlanta because that's where I'm currently living. It's been a pleasure knowing each and every one of these amazing people I'm sitting by. Oh my gosh. Y'all have all just had such positive energy whenever it's, been in an encounter. It's always been so fun. A little bit about me. I'm a neo soul singer. I stand by peace, love, happiness, and music. I love all things Afrocentric, eccentric, Afro.
Hey.
And I love soul. I love speaking about emotions and vulnerability and all that.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned, yes, I'm also a singer myself. No, I'm an R&B singer and I love R&B to the core of me. It is the root of what I stand on. Good vibes only. I feel like that is the way.
If you hadn't gone out and listened, you feel me?
Please.
Take a listen.
GVO on.
It's on all music platforms, so please check that out.
It's fire.
And again, my IG is _call me Nasa, call me NASA. So.
Word. I appreciate the introduction, ladies. So just a quick question here because you both are singers, as we've mentioned before, and as you've mentioned before. So I kind of wanted to know, like, what influenced you to start singing?
Well, for me, I started singing when I was like 3. I was with my... You started singing when you were 3? Oh, that's crazy.
Hey.
That's so crazy. So I started singing with my auntie Leah. Shout out to her. I love you. I started singing just different songs. I was singing Bob Marley. I was singing Mary J. Blige. She has the most versatile music taste I have ever encountered. And I just aspire to get at least 5% as diverse as her. Like, she goes deep. And so I was just singing so many different things, and they started putting me in talent shows in elementary school and middle school. I joined the band. I wasn't really like, I love singing, but I always wanted to play an instrument. So I did clarinet, and then I went to performing arts high school, and I was a vocal major, and that's when I really started to like fall in love with singing.
Okay.
Yeah. But
You
I've been singing since I was 3. Yeah.
Shout out clarinet technician. You feel me? First, just a disclaimer. You feel me? We may curse. You feel me? Like,
it's gonna happen. You guys, we try our best to curtail the heavier curse words, but you guys know what the deal is. For those who've listened before, you know how we get down.
hello.
So, Nasa,
Yes, I've also been singing since I was 3 years old.
Hey.
Yeah. But mine didn't really start off. Mine, I started in the church, and it
Mhm.
really wasn't just I wasn't singing gospel. I think what grasped me to actually start singing was there was a guest that had came to our church, and she was a foreign singer. She didn't speak much English, but when she opened her mouth, it caught my attention. So that's when I was just like, yep, that's exactly what I wanted to do. And like the person who was singing, she was singing opera, so it was kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like a transition, I guess, that just happened today because being a performance major, that's basically what we had to do was be classically trained. So
right.
I would always listen to like a lot of like R&B groups like SWV, Jodeci, older groups like Earth, Wind and Fire, and so I would always attach myself to that realm. I will say I did stop singing for a little bit. I don't know what. I just kind of just stopped. I kind of just stopped for a little bit. What's up?
What brought you to stop that?
I thought at a point I just felt like there was really nothing for me to sing about, because singing, there's a certain joy that you have when you sing, and there's a certain a feeling that you get when you sing, and I just didn't get that. It was just like I felt like I was constantly in the choir at church, and I was doing my thing, but it was just like everything that was transitioning, it just I didn't feel like maybe this is not what I should be doing.
I can feel that to a degree. You feel me? Like, you live your life, and then you feel that I guess how you would call it a disconnect.
It was
between
definitely a disconnect,
everyday life and church life.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, you want to be able to bridge the gap so that you understand where it is that you are in your everyday walk of life.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% on the just feeling like you don't want to be able to sing. I think that like as an artist, we all kind of go through that same thing. And I think honestly, every person goes through that, whether it's something that you're passionate about, you do it so much. And sometimes you like, even this can't save me from like my emotions at the time. When we were talking about mental health earlier, it's real. It's really real. It's real. And it gets to the point, even when the stuff that you're most passionate about, you lose sight of because of how heavy everything can get. So I know personally, like, y'all, seeing a therapist is great, okay? Like, especially when you get somebody tailored to what you're looking for. Like, for me, I went to the BetterHelp website, and they gave me the opportunity to meet with somebody, a Black woman. And then I wanted to meet with a Black woman who really knew about, like, the family, family environments and the structure and stuff like that. And she got me together real quick.
Okay. Oh, all right.
It was honestly one of the best experiences I've ever had. I'm sorry, we just kind of transitioned into mental health.
No.
That's great, because it's like you do need to have those certain outlets to kind of get you back on track to where you. Because I know for a fact, like this is not. It wasn't the first. Me stopping music wasn't the first time. Like I granted during college and during school, I was singing. But I was I had no choice because I had no choice. But like mentally, I was just like
checked out. Yeah.
I checked out. Like I didn't even want to. Like I don't want to do this. Like I'm debating whether or not if this is my career field, if this is the appropriate career field, or it's like, all right, God, what are you trying to show me? Like what are you trying to tell me or something like that? But I feel like as an artist, and let alone as a musician, I feel like sometimes you do have to take a step back because you don't want to overwhelm yourself with just constant music, constant doing this, because you're not centering yourself if you don't.
Yeah. Can we talk about self-doubt?
Self-doubt.
So, right.
Self-doubt yourself.
That's what I was.
With me, and I have to relate this going into self-doubt because y'all, I don't know if y'all know, but I mean, I'm a theater kid. So it was like, for me, it was all theater from the time I was 6 up until the time I got to college. And then it was like, all right, let me take a step back a little bit because, I was a 5-year MBA major. So I stayed out of the theater for about a year and a half or so. And then I got slowly back into it because it was just so consistent from elementary to high school. I was like, I need to like take a break a little bit because I love doing this, but right now my mind is not in, and I'm just getting into college. I'm trying to figure shit out. So let me stop myself.
You have to realize that life also happens.
Yeah.
Hello. Come on. Say it again.
Yes.
Life also happens. So it's just like, as much as you want to like pursue, you want to do this thing that you love, it's gonna have to take a back seat so that you can get your shit together.
Exactly.
Get your shit together. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when everything is in order and everything is in line, then you can come back to it. It's not like I'm not saying that you're pushing it to the side and you're just not gonna come back to it. It's just, all right, let me get myself together so that when I do come back to it, I'm coming back in it full force.
Yep.
Yeah. I like to think that everything that happens is intentional.
Absolutely.
I think that sometimes we think that everything is happening against us and not for us. And I think that when you have that mentality, you kind of you weaken what God is molding you to be stronger by, I think that like when we have all of these downfalls, all of these hardships, we're just kind of in the moment, but we kind of have to recognize that like, it's not always going to be a good day,
right?
And that's okay. But you take what you did not like about that day. I'm sorry, I slapped when I was talking. But you take what you didn't like about that day, you take all of those lessons and you use them so that you're able to help mold yourself into having those better days, into feeling better. It's just taking all the negatives and turning it into positive energy, because energy doesn't die. So It's like when you have all that negativity coming your way, you can easily cleanse it by reversing the actions that have reciprocated itself towards you,
I just gotta say, like, I feel that 110% for the fact that, like, at the end of the day, like, you control whether you are going to be happy or sad in the day. And when it comes down to it, you feel me, those that you interact with can either boost that or they can push it in the opposite direction and contribute to portraying or making that feeling amplified tenfold. I just want to say, like, that in itself is something that I feel like not too many people truly understand.
I will say, like, it also, like, piggybacking on what Law said, it's just like you got to surround yourself with good energy.
Yep.
That's just like, I think that's pretty explanatory. Like,
whether that's people,
GBO,
period.
You have
whether that's places, whether that's edges, whether that's
Put yourself with good vibes.
Okay, look, don't be stressing them edges out.
You're like, oh my goodness,
oh my goodness,
look, that ain't for you.
Nah, but you just reminded me I need a retwist.
Hey, bro, look. My loctician down, bro. She broke her ankle tight.
Oh no!
So, like, look, I'm out here looking like the struggle bus right now. But it's okay because, you feel me, I'm wishing her fast healing, and we gonna make it do what it do. You feel me?
Yeah. Go ahead, Nasa.
No, I just feel like, what I've learned, especially with just like within these past weeks, and especially within this last month, like, you really do got to surround yourself with good energy, because it's kind of strenuous on how bad energy can affect your mood just like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and mostly your happiness starts with you. So it's not anybody else's responsibility for that, but it has to start with you. And that, placing boundaries on where your happiness, where people can go within that realm of your energy. Like,
that's key. Boundaries.
Yep.
I've learned that's a really big thing for me. Like, that has been the biggest lesson as far as just within these couple months is boundaries, and creating a safe boundary for yourself so that, so that people
you don't get hurt.
You don't get hurt.
Listen,
you don't get hurt, but also knowing like who is going to be for you
And who's gonna be against you?
but not even against you, because at the end of the day, if you are moving forward with the aspect that people are for you, the people who are against you not gonna matter.
Right.
Yeah.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? So I really say that to say, like, make your environment work for you.
Mhm.
And that's something that I have to deal with on a consistent basis, considering that I work in retail and I rent cars. So knowing that I have to set my boundaries and not let, people with negative emotions come in and ruin my day just because they're having a bad day,
Mhm.
But even if they do come into your surrounding, knowing how to discern said energy and then portray it so that you know that it doesn't affect you.
Exactly.
Can I tell you how interacting with negative energy and flipping it really works in your favor?
Best feeling ever.
So,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
listen, I'm a server at Olive Garden, and I remember one day this group of ladies came in, and it was one of the ladies' birthday, but they just all had piss poor ass attitudes, right?
Come on now, and it's a
And so-
birthday.
It's a birthday. Like, you see, people are just rude and unhappy and miserable at their own birthdays, y'all.
Mm.
So literally, she's so upset, and I'm like, oh, it's your birthday, right? Because even after they've cussed me out for not giving them ranch or, yelled at me and made smart remarks about everything that I was doing, I brought out a birthday cake for her and I started singing operatically. And when I tell you, it was like the energy in the room literally moved to where it was nothing negative in there whatsoever. Like, everybody was light, everybody was happy. And it was like, you also, in those situations where you feel as if you're uncomfortable, you feel as if, this is just so negative. I mean, you be that light in a room and you erase all of that negativity around you. It only takes one person to come in with a different mindset, a different mentality, a different energy, and it could change and shift the whole room,
Firm believer and be the change that you want to see.
Curiosity.
My mom always told me always be a light to somebody.
Yeah.
You never know what somebody's going through. And like, you never know what, like, the slightest thing, like the slightest positive energy will change somebody's day. Like,
Yeah,
you never know.
the main light is to be you.
Yeah.
Yep. Honestly, that's actually something my dad taught me. My mom might have said it like, a few times, but like it really stuck with my dad. Said, he says, be a blessing to somebody.
Yeah.
Go about your life. Don't just go about your life, worrying about the negative or, how you're feeling and whatnot. If you know that there's somebody close to you that needs that light and you can provide it, do it. But also, protect yourself from anything that might happen to dampen your light. Just focus on you, focus on the gifts that God has given you, and go about and make a change.
Yes. Ooh, can I say something? Oh my gosh. Okay, my aunt gave me something that I live by to this day. And she told me this a long time ago, and I hardly remember quotes. So for me to remember this is a big deal, okay?
Uh-oh.
She told me, she was like, if you're going to be your biggest critic, you need to be your biggest supporter.
Yep.
Basic layman. So I have a bad time of like putting myself down, being overly critical of myself, And so in those moments when you're looking for everybody else to give you the validation, sometimes it doesn't even matter if you don't validate it within yourself. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, dang, Ariana, this sucks. And everybody around me was like, it's great. And I was like, okay, I guess a little part right here sound kind of good, And then I just kind of boosted it into just, girl, like, stop being so hard on yourself. So if there's nobody around you who can really be,
even when I feel like, even when you're like mad critical, you should always say, I'm that bitch. Don't.
Oh, period.
So like, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Ari and Nasha was saying.
Yes.
You feel me? Like, I decided to go down the road of making my own music. Not for the fact of I'm trying to profit from it, but for self-healing. And I made a track and I was just like, I don't rock with it at all. Like, I'm in the band and shit. Boo! This shit sucks. Like, but then I just had to like really sit back and think, like, yo, you did this shit so that you could heal. You did this so that, you know, you can take whatever weight that is weighing on your heart off, so that when it comes to moving forward, you can, like, you know, keep running with it. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when you say that, like, you feel me, be your biggest critic, but also be your biggest support, because at the end of the day, you are all you got.
Ain't gonna
And if you're not one with yourself, you lost.
Ain't nobody gonna have
And
it
like,
you.
I'm not trying to be lost out here in the midst of chaos. Every pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know that at the end of the day, if it really dives down into myself, I'm gonna be okay.
Absolutely. That just goes into what I was saying last week. You can't please everybody. Work on pleasing yourself. It's another reason why I even started this platform to start, because this is a way of, you know, expressing myself, expressing my voice, but also letting other people express themselves and letting their voice be heard as well. Because hearing that positivity coming from other people as well as myself is ultimately what gives me the most satisfying fulfillment that I think I will ever have. Like, just being able to hear different stories and being able to hear different viewpoints, but just also being able to express myself. That's ultimately why I, you know, started this, because I feel good. You know, I'm surrounded by good, positive energy. You know, I'm good people. So ultimately, as y'all have said, good vibes only.
GBO.
Go listen to it.
All right, so before we continue, guys, I'm just going to take a quick break here. We're going to transition kind of into the next portion of this podcast episode. So stick around. We will be right back. All right, y'all, we're back. I hope that you have enjoyed the first segment that we talked about. We're going to continue our conversation here, but it's definitely going to get more into, again, the music of our times. But we talked about hip hop the first couple of episodes that we did. So now, of course, I have two singers here. So naturally, the conversation is going to go to the state of R&B. In the background, of course, you're going to hear the R&B playlist play through as we discuss. So just bear with us and keep us in mind. You know, we this is music that we love and enjoy. So we talked a little bit more about like influences and as far as like artists that have influenced us. So as far as I guess that falls within the R&B and the neo soul category, Ari, I'm gonna start with you. Who has influenced you the most throughout your, you know, burgeoning career right now?
I'm gonna give you like 10, 15 artists. Because
Okay.
I'm just playing. I'm gonna give you like 5.
I was ready.
I mean, look, I might add a few in there. So
Okay.
a lot of people I listen to really heavy. I listen to, of course, Jill Scott,
Of course.
Erykah Badu. I listen to Moonchild.
Okay.
I listen to Selena Quintanilla. Like, I listen to Latin influencers. I listen to Ella Fitzgerald, Duke Ellington. I listen to, I'm sorry, this song's getting in my feelings. I also listen to Tweet.
Okay.
As well.
Yes. Tweet.
Mm-hmm. And Chrisette Michelle Lettucey, all of them.
Yeah. Hey, I feel that.
Wait, Layla Hathaway.
Oh,
Layla Hathaway.
that's a good
Somebody,
one. Yes.
the queen.
The God.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, Layla Hathaway. Sorry.
Hey, no. That is perfectly fine. I'm glad you named her. Say it's hard to find somebody who can sing 2 chords at the same damn time. Oof.
Same time.
Shit.
Mm.
Whew,
You're
okay.
talking about the artist that did Snarky Puppy, right?
Yes.
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 I can't even do it.
Layla Hathaway,
Just easy.
Okay, so
Like
but
what?
the first time I heard her do that, I was like, "Whoa, what is
I'm not
going
gonna hold
on?"
you. I listened to that at least
She's not human.
10 times. Like,
I've
it's
listened to it at
different.
least
Like,
100.
I actually Googled like what was the percentage of people who could actually
1%.
She's a 1%.
Mhm.
Literally, it's like 2 people on Earth who know how to do that.
Right. Nasa.
I listen to SWV.
Of course.
Of course, I'm a huge fan of SWV. Like I grew up listening to them. In Vogue, I would
Mhm.
listen to. Of course, I'm a big fan of Jodeci,
Oh,
so I
mhm.
definitely listen to them. Mary J. Blige,
Okay.
Faith Evans. Those who I are definitely some people I definitely admire. Also as well as Ella Fitzgerald. If we're gonna get down to like jazz and
Mhm.
Ella, I love her, especially her rendition of "Summertime" with Louis Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Some of these artists that y'all have named, of course, are artists that I listened to when I was growing up. Being a 90s kid, but having an 80s brother, and then parents who were born in the 50s, you get a little bit of everything. So, of course, when talking about natural R&B, because I sing, but I mean I was a choir dude. For those who did not know, but when it came to like R&B artists, we're talking like as you said, for some reason Ella Fitzgerald, like especially when I got in high school, like that's all I was listening to. Especially when I got in the jazz band, like it was like Ella and Dizzy. I'm trying to think of some other artists. Of course, I listened heavily to Louis Armstrong when I was in jazz band, but also, of course, got to throw in the R&B roots as well. A lot of New Edition, a lot of Jodeci, a lot of Boyz II Men.
Mint Condition.
Yes,
I've
mint
definitely
condition.
listened, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Though that was actually one of my favorite groups, just because there was still live instrumentation, and me being an instrumentalist, it was like,
for some reason, it was just like the artist that had the live instrumentation. It was just something different about it. Like I
Mhm.
understand, like you can do like a whole bunch of stuff like on a little, beat board,
yeah,
but like the live instruments and everything coming together, and it just sounded cohesive. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just beautiful. Like one of my favorite songs by SWV is "Fine Time,"
mm-hmm.
and it's just the intro. Like I sampled that for versus Tony on my EP, on my GVO
Mm-hmm.
EP, and it was just the beginning instrumentation that just shook me. I was just like, bro. And it just was gradual, and it just got louder, and it was just beautiful. I was just like,
Word. So I say all of that to say, because talking about certain influences that have influenced you all as singers. Are there any like current projects that you guys are working on right now?
girl, you go ahead.
For me, I do have a few projects I am working on. I have 2 songs that I'm working on with my good friend Uptown Walker. We don't know when the song's coming out, y'all, but they're gonna come out before the end of summer. Okay, they're gonna be good. I have my Summer Love music video dropping next Friday. I have my I have like a slight EP coming out, but it's gonna be like at the beginning of August. Nobody knows about it because it's real like low key. But
Okay.
it's definitely coming out, guys. I swear. I'm just gonna pop up with it too. I'm gonna be on some Beyonce stuff, even though I'm not Beyonce. Cause yeah,
She likes to pop up and disappear, and I love it.
yeah.
I love
She's
it.
like, here you go. See you
There
later.
There you go.
Pop in and out at your leisure.
That's what I'm trying to get to in my
Okay.
career.
Okay, just pop in and out and be about my day.
Okay.
Yep.
I got a couple projects coming out. I have an album that's coming out. I'm not sure when it's supposed to come out. It's supposed to be out in July,
Mm-hmm.
but it may possibly be in August that it will drop. And then I have a collab project that I'm doing with my engineer, Zay Blaze.
Okay.
So we're doing a collab project together. And I'm just trying to get things in order as far as like videos, because I don't have any visuals at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to be strategic as far as who's going to videotape mine or shoot the video. So
Got you.
other than that, but got some things going on. I don't know as far as when me and Zay are going to drop our project, but hopefully it'll be before 2020 ends.
Hey, take your time. We were having this discussion before. You don't have to put a timestamp on anything. Please don't. Take your time with it. And be sure that it's right and that it's to your liking first and foremost. And then everybody else they're gonna follow suit. So, again, guys, if you haven't listened to NASA's EP that's currently out right now, GVO, please go listen. Please, I guarantee that your ears will be blessed. You will love that EP. It is stamped by me myself, so therefore you should go listen to it. Now, with the way that you guys are, as far as R&B artists, we can, at least for me, you could tell that there was a change in R&B from the time that we were kids to the time that we were teens to now. Obviously, with me being the oldest in here, it's okay, I got to experience all of the 90s R&B, all of the 2000s R&B, and now in the 2010s and up into 2020. So, what was it, La?
I feel like the major switch was back in the day. It was really about being in love. You know what I'm saying? Pushing that rhetoric of being in love and loving on who it was that you were with at the time. And now, so not to mix genres, but you feel me, you had the City Girls movement, you had the Megan Thee Stallion movement. It really made that switch to okay, I'ma love myself, and then I'm gonna bring my significant other in on the side, because at the end of the day, my love for myself is gonna be trump card, and then you feel me, I'm gonna tie in what's going on the secondary.
You could also say that for me, the switch came I guess sort of mid 2000s, where songs were more, I guess, subtle as far as talking about lovemaking, or just being in love with your significant other, or cheating songs, and then started to get a little more explicit. I guess it really just depends on where the market trends, and currently, of course, the radio market. Well, that's part of the other discussion, because we all know that the radio market doesn't play a lot of R&B as is anyway right now. But I guess that's another part of the discussion for a little later on down the road.
Because I'm gonna just delve into it on a little bit. A lot of that rhetoric is for the fact that they don't want to put their listeners into their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? You're listening to music that is going to keep you coming back, or keeping a standpoint on what it is that you're listening to.
I see. Definitely interesting perspective. Ari, you got any comments about that?
Well, I have a song out called Where You Are on all streaming platforms. I dropped it maybe early June.
Okay.
And that song's a little bit more risque, I guess you could say, in my catalog. It's just a lot more sensual than a lot of my other pieces. And I think that even with the creative verbiage of the sexual innuendos, Lord Jesus, the innuendos. No, the sexual innuendos in the song. I think that we've gotten a little bit more, not a little bit more, a lot of bit more. It's just more exposure in general to a lot of the different topics that were back at hand 20 years ago. It's just people are just going right out and saying it now, instead of being all sugarcoating it and stuff like that. They're not being creative no more with what they're saying. They're just nothing but, sorry, excuse my language, but I mean, that's what it is. You know?
At the same time, you feel me, from a male perspective to a female perspective, would you rather a male beat around the bush, or he be upfront with what it is that he's intending with his lyrics?
I mean, I would like for there to be a straightforwardness about it, but I like the creative language that was used back then. People don't know how to have a conversation now. They don't know how to stimulate somebody's mind intellectually anymore. It's just more so because everything is so blatant that we've kind of forgotten the padding behind being blunt. Like if you're gonna be blunt with somebody, I mean, at least get creative with your words. Have them think about something they gotta Google later. Like, what you even mean by that word? Like, you know, I'm still thinking about what you said 4 hours later. Like,
but that's the point of the matter. You feel me? Like, I'm gonna say something that is gonna stimulate you intellectually, not as opposed to, yeah, girl, I'm trying to holler at you type. Like, and don't get me wrong, because there's been situations where it's been music made that way and it served the purpose.
Yeah.
But depending upon what type of artist that you are, you feel me? If you're trying to, you know, go to that next level, you feel me?
It's different strokes for different folks, but I think that the majority has just become less intrigued with vocabulary and more about repetition and hypeness, you know, and the instrumentation.
Well, I kind of feel what you're saying about being creative with like your words and with your language, because you want people to be more upfront, but you know, I guess nowadays it's a little more blunt.
Just be flavorful with it,
like flavorful. Don't just be off the rip like, oh yeah, you know, I want to get in your pants, like, you know, like let me slide through, you know.
Okay, be like, you got this accentuate figure, darling. That like, I'm just playing, but
I don't know
still,
if y'all
like,
familiar with the artist Smino.
I love
Smino.
Yes.
Smino is slick as fuck.
What's that? The song.
It's something in the
Not that one. He was talking about the backwoods and. Doom, 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 doom,
I think I know what you're talking about.
There's.
See, now you about to make me look this up.
Smino. Okay, look. I think it's very crucial, like as a, you know, as an artist to try to make a story out of it. I mean, don't just be blunt with. I mean, yeah, be blunt with your words, but make
Wild Irish Roses.
There we go.
Yeah.
I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, but Wild Irish Roses. I love that song. Like, it's just it's not it's blunt, but it's creative to the point where you understand it. Like people. I think the beauty of what R&B was that it had metaphors, it had similes, it wasn't so technical. You know what I'm saying? But it still got the same point across, and you still understood what that person was saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's funny that y'all say that, because I was thinking of how like songs back in the day, like when you're younger, you don't really know what they mean until you actually look up the lyrics and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, why was I singing this?
For example, like Mint Conditions, Pretty Brown Eyes.
You're breaking my heart. Yeah.
You know, I see ya. I got pretty brown eyes. What you talking about, boy? Like, like I think that was a creative way to say, like, I see you.
Right.
I see you, and you're an attractive female, and I'm noticing something specific about you, like,
and it's not just my breasts.
It's not.
Like,
it's not
my boobs
pretty brown eyes. I'm noticing anything.
Like, I'm looking you eye to eye.
Like, yeah, you got some pretty ass eyes.
Like, right. I'm gonna go back further a little bit to like the 80s. The song by M-Tune, Juicy Fruit. See, the first time you like when you're a kid, yes. Which has been sampled like by multiple songs, like by Notorious B.I.G. and many others. But like when you hear like as a kid, when you listen to it, you're thinking like, they talking about the gum or what are they talking about? And then my dad actually told.
Old enough, you know what they're talking about.
My dad, when I was 10, my dad told me exactly what that song meant, and I was like, what?
But can we talk about how all these old school artists was talking about sex? When
yeah.
I mean,
but they
from
were
Rick
so...
James to the Isley Brothers,
that's the creativity behind those.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like everybody had songs about sex. They just were creative with it, you know. And I think and it's not saying that the artists now are lacking creativity, but I feel like their execution isn't as artistic as it could be.
So do you feel like that's what the disconnect is between our generation of music and later generations?
You
feel like
no, because I would not say that, because a lot of our generation does a lot of samples. We do a lot of sampling within our music and stuff like that. So I feel like people are paying homage, but they're not creating more like original sounds in pieces that I would say, without like, I guess, trying to divert to a different message. Like you can have the same message and still have a different approach. You know, we've lost the approaches, if that makes sense.
All right. So follow-up question. Do you feel like there is a rebirth of old music to now?
Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
I feel like, just for, I'm going to do an example. Like,
follow-up question. What do you think is going to be that rebirth or that spark for follow-up generations to tie in old school, our school, to be the new school?
I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, I come back to Versus Tony, like, because I took it, I sampled it from a song that was in 1996, like 1995, 1994, revamped it, made it my own, so that the younger generation who's coming up could grasp it. So it's just like, it's that sense of like paying homage. It's that sense of paying homage and just making it your own.
Yeah,
it's paying homage but making it your own, like,
but I also
renewing it.
My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think it's a difference between like sampling and also like using the influences of the people before you. Like I think that you can bring in the past artists before you by, you know, having influences of theirs within your music that can be like, oh, well, that sounds like somebody such and such and stuff like that.
So I got a question for you. I don't know if y'all have heard, but Saweetie got the okay to make a remix to, what's the song?
P. Pablo?
Yeah, Tap
Freak
In.
a Week? Yeah, Freak a Week.
How do y'all feel about that? Because that's in the realm of what we're talking about.
I thought it was cool. I mean, I thought I was rocking with the song. Like,
as long as it's a good song, like, I don't mind.
So you
I'm
feel,
not gonna sit here and
so,
say, like, if you're gonna do a sample, if you're especially gonna do an old school song, like an old song that's
like in history, like it's a banger type.
And you gotta freak that shit.
You better freak it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, don't just sit here and just sample a song and it just, and that song was a bop, and then you make it less than a bop. Like it has to trump a bop. Like,
and granted, like, even though there might be a point in time where there's just nothing you can absolutely do that'll like top that song, at least make it like neck and neck to where you like, well, I enjoy them both equally, you know?
Or like at the end of the day, this gonna be a banger, but I'm right behind that motherfucker.
Right. Yes, exactly.
And I think that brings me to like a Rhythm and Flow episode that I saw. That when they were doing sample songs, they were talking about the same thing. Like, if you're gonna sample a song, let us not remember the song that you sampled.
Exactly. I know the episode you're talking about too.
So that's definitely an interesting perspective on where the creative juices of music are going right now. What's going on, Love?
I just was gonna say, like, at the end of the day, like, sampling is a means of creativity. Look at Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
He has built his platform off of samples.
True.
And I don't know if y'all familiar, but I think it's either Chicks Tape 3 or Chicks Tape 4.
Mm-hmm.
That shit a banger. The all that jump.
Yeah.
Yo. I bang with it heavy, but at the same time, I respect the fact that he paid homage to those songs for the fact that the younger generation is not going to know what all that is. Like, granted, they recreating the series for them to know what it is, but they not going to know the same thing as Amanda, please. You know what I'm saying?
It's a different all that's going on right now. They got different skits and whatnot. They're not going to know what we grew up on as far as, you know, Ask Ashley or, well, I guess Good Burger, sort of, because they do see snippets of that, but...
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. How can I help you?
It's it's just like even like Blue's Clues, they got phones and emails
Yeah.
now. And Jay,
What?
Like,
For
we
real?
was getting letters when we was in, we were kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what?
Nah, I saw one photo and it said like Miss Salt and Pepper keep having kids. I'm like, really, yo?
You know what I
And
found
they
out?
making garlic powder,
Mr.
oregano.
Mr. Rogers isn't Mr. Rogers no more. It's Daniel the Lion.
What?
You feel me? Like
Huh?
Mr. Rogers did Daniel the Lion.
Oh no!
Now it's Daniel the Lion as a series. Like,
Wow.
like that's the
I
evolution
was gonna
of
say.
what we grew up on.
Oh,
Because
wow.
not everybody's gonna understand what Mr. Rogers was.
Right.
I was gonna say, considering that, Mr. Rogers says, well, God rest his soul, he's been gone for a while, as well as his TV show's been gone for even longer.
But he's
So-
still making money.
His estate is getting paid right now.
You know what I'm saying?
So just to talk a little bit more about just some of the R&B that we grew up on, like as far as the 90s, NASA talked about, SWV. You also got In Vogue, you got Destiny's Child. Some more little known ones like Jade, Eternal, Groove Theory.
Yeah.
John A had a couple of hits. We played a little Total at the beginning of this. 702. Of course, you got Escape. That's you got to throw that in. Brownstone, Changing Faces, TLC. Like these are just some of the artists that, of course, we all know and love and grew up on, as well as might have been an influence on us just in our lives in general. One thing that I'm definitely going to talk about in the next segment, which we're about to wrap up, is going to be, like male R&B, because right now, like especially if you go on the radio, you're going to hear like an oversaturation of Chris Brown, but a lot of the R&B that we used to have like in the past or a lot of neo soul is not there, at least not on the hip hop stations anymore.
What you think changed R&B from back in the day to today?
Rap? If I'm being brutally honest, rap has something to do with it, because in my honest opinion, I think it's because radio stations didn't want to play R&B jams unless there was a rap verse included in it starting off. And then you have more actual rap artists who are singing.
I feel more so like it's because nobody wants to get in their feelings.
That too.
Like, I
So
feel
second
like-
question, do you feel that the art of, freaking a sample affected what it meant to be an R&B artist?
I mean, when you have artists like Summer Walker who are sampling music, back
But
to
I'm
back to
saying,
back,
you
it's like,
feel me? Like,
yeah.
There's no
you
authenticity.
take what was original and then you freak it. Like,
But
just-
I also think that's a lot on the production aspect of things too, not necessarily the artist. The artist might have that viewpoint, but the producer is the one who's setting that all together for an artist. So you got to get into production on that aspect too, about like the production and the producers that are coming about. You got to talk about the Zaytovens. You got to talk about, London on the track. You got to talk about all these different.
but do you not feel that produce music to move forward?
Wait, what do you mean? You said like
Granted, like you taking into the aspect that, okay, yeah, they taking samples, but is that not a art form of pushing the
it's definitely
music forward
progressive.
forward?
It's
Yeah.
progressive, but if it's not, I don't know.
You gotta have a balance of progressive, like sampling and stuff like that, and also original
and
pieces and stuff like that.
being
You know,
authentic. Like you can't. It can't just be a whole bunch of.
you
sampling
can't be
all
a
over the place.
living like a reincarnation of like another artist or something. You can't just sample all their work and think that you're gonna make a living off of that.
Right.
You
Yeah,
have
no, I'm definitely a big fan of mooching off of what has come before.
Right.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, like, if you feel like you can freak that beat or you can freak that track to make it something of your own so that the new generation can kind of grasp and hold on to what it is that was made from the past, that also makes a point for them to go back and listen to what was created in the past. Type.
A little bit. Kanye West does a lot of that. Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna be right back, and we're gonna wrap up pretty much this conversation in regards to that. This where the state of R&B is now. So don't move. We will be right back.
And I'm back at it again.
All right, y'all. And we're back. So, per our last discussion, of course, we're still continuing to talk about the state of R&B and where it is now. Excuse me. And we were just discussing like a couple of things that we've noticed, like how R&B has changed over, of course, from the creativity of the lyrics, more specifically. But then also, in my view, right now, you see that there is less and less groups and more solo stars, if you can find them. Of course, there's still some groups out there, but they're not going to get like the mainstream play that they enjoyed back in the 90s and the early 2000s. So, for example, I read an article basically about how we went from, like, especially within the Black community, we definitely had a lot of groups that, we're talking from doo-wop groups to like contemporary R&B to Motown to to disco to the R&B of the 90s and whatnot. And now you don't have any more R&B groups that are at the forefront. For example, I mean, in the 90s alone, you have 112, Troop, Jagged Edge, Boyz II Men, High Five, New Edition, Jodeci, which branched off into Casey and JoJo, Drew Hill, Shy, Soul For Real, Rough Ends, Silk, Tony, Belle Biv DeVoe, Mint Condition. It's a lot to just kind of go through. But now, like in terms of, I guess, R&B, where it is now, mostly what I'm going to hear on the radio is, if it's not a rap artist singing, it's more than likely going to be Chris Brown. And I can't think of any other like actual R&B male artist that's on the radio as prominent, except for maybe Daniel Caesar every now and again. But you can definitely tell that there's been a shift and a change, and it just seems that the industry prefers rap, or in this case trap music or sing rap, as opposed to actually vocalists. I'm gonna keep it real. So, all right, I guess what's your opinion, if you have one?
Man, I was just nodding my head to you. You were speaking 100% on how I feel, honestly. I think that they're not letting singers sing anymore.
Yeah.
Let me sing. That's all I want to do is sing. And people like it,
Right.
And I think that people don't know how to look for like vocalists anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have singing discussions about the new singers anymore,
But I think musicianship has gone out the window because everybody has just been on the sense of, oh, we have to have this, that they miss the quality and that they miss the tonality of a person in the artistry of
to piggyback off of that. I feel like it goes back to what I said in the past.
Yeah.
A lot of it is we live in a microwave generation, where artists are putting out so much content after content after content after content that, like, you could put out something today and it be overlooked or overlapped because you have an artist who put out 3 or 4 different projects. You know what I'm saying? Just so that they can get a buzz within where we at. And a lot of it is due to the fact that it's old music that's been put out. You know what I'm saying?
Keep in mind, it's just that a lot of the artists that are out today, most of them have hustle mentality.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily musicians per se. They're just more so hustlers, so they know how to get things done. And so with that, it kind of diminishes the whole purpose of. It definitely diminishes the whole purpose of being an artist, because being an artist, it requires a lot of critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I also would have to say that as an artist, you know, you are your business. You're an entrepreneur because you have a brand, you have something that you have to stand by and stuff like that. And I think that it's important for artists to have that balance of business and artistry. But I think that now we just have a lot of people who are trying to make it seem as if music is easy and like, oh, I got music down, because all they're doing is looking at numbers. They're not trying to be artistic. They're trying to think about it in a logical way. When music is all pathos, you know, it's all emotion and feeling and stuff like that. And I think we lose that.
But that's what it goes back into, just like music is definitely it requires 360 thinking. Mm-hmm. And so when you're only one-sided, you're only going to get one-sided, and it's only going to go so far. Like that's the biggest thing, being like a music major, learning that it's not just a bunch of notes. It's not just a bunch of, you know, shit on paper. Mm-hmm. Like it requires critical thinking. It's mathematics, it's business, it's, you know,
history, it's technology, it's
literature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
science.
It's science. So all of that is important when creating music. Like I understand that music is a business at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But how can you create a balance and still have that business side, but still have that creative side at the end,
and
progress. And that's what we're missing. Like we're missing the creative side. We have the hustle. Like musicians have the hustle. You know, there's a lot of artists that have the hustle, but do you have the creativity, or is it just?
Mm-hmm. And even still, I feel like I didn't give a full answer to a statement that we had earlier in a different segment of the show. Mm-hmm. But I believe that also something that is happening into music like now is that they're making it more digital. You know, you're getting a lot more electronic sounds. You're getting a lot more instrumentation strictly from a keyboard. And you're losing the authenticity of musicians, like not singers, but musicians. You're missing the bass player. You're missing the drummer. There's artists out here who haven't even performed with a live band before in their life, you know? All they know is their instrumentals, you know? And I think that's a very critical part that is missing in music now, is that where are the people that you create music with? Right. It shouldn't just be you creating music by yourself in your room all the time, you know? Mm-hmm. You should be collabing with some friends. Go get your bass player friend, go get your keyboard friend, go get your drummer friend, and y'all all jam out. And that's when you come out with great quality music too.
And that's what makes it so authentic when you have that, because it's not just yourself as a musician. Yeah. We have other people who are musicians and who are on the same type of wave as you. Like, for example, I've done performances where I did a track where I sang over my track, but me singing over just an instrumental, it didn't feel the same. Mm-hmm. Because it didn't feel the same, because how I want to perform is I want a live band. I want background singers. I want to be able to create how I want to create, and not just be balancing and not just be focused on, or, you know, basing my performance off of the instrumental. Like, as a performer, you should be able to create that scenery, create that tone on stage. And I feel like you can't really do that when you're doing it with the instrumental. Sure, you know, people do it all the time, but it's being authentic on stage and being authentic with the music.
And that also means that, like, when you're being authentic, you also have to take into consideration the vibe of the band. You can tell when somebody just rehearsed with somebody a few hours before the show, and when they really been meshing and jamming together, like, you can tell the energy. And I think that a lot of people aren't comfortable performing with bands anymore because we don't have that anymore. Mm-hmm. So we need to bring that back. I'm gonna bring it back. If you're in Atlanta and you want to be in my band, hit me up.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate the shameless plug here, because I think that, as we said before, that a lot of the music has gotten digital, and a lot of people do not know how to perform with a live band anymore, or don't know how to vibe with that. And you can tell one of the things that I was just thinking about with a lot of things missing is that we talked about it earlier. It's just again we're missing the actual development of the artist itself. We're missing the A&R. Because I guess the industry now, they're more so along the lines of pardon the bikes. Yeah, unfortunately that happens every now and again. But yeah, we're missing that segment because people don't want to like focus on developing the artist anymore. They just want to put out.
They just want to put
content out there.
It's quantity.
Mm-hmm.
But quantity only goes so far.
Right.
And like honestly, I will stand by this. Just simply being as an artist. It doesn't matter who goes for it. It doesn't matter who put it out first. It matters if it's done right.
Right.
Because people are gonna attract to the things that are done right than the ones that are just been put out. Like because you put out something, but people are not gonna remember it.
But that's what I say to the whole aspect of the microwave generation. You feel me?
And people have short attention spans.
Very short.
Which plays into that. You feel me?
We used to listen to full albums. Like we had no choice because you have to put the CD in the CD player. Like we grew up in a little bit of that time. I would remember holding my CD player, trying to ride my bike at the same time. I didn't have, or even like when we had to make our own CDs and burn them.
Yes.
You know, like we had to go through listening to an artist's their full work. We had to go through that as a listener, whether we wanted to or not. It was in our face. When you wanted to hear an artist and what they were working on, you listened to the whole CD. And you were like, oh, well, I thoroughly enjoyed this song and that song on the transition. Now people just drop their single and then they'd be like one-hit wonders. And it's like more common than it used to be. So we have like so many one-hit wonders now.
But that's the one-hit, not a one-hit wonder. The microwave generation, you feel me? So much content pushed that either if you on top of it, you can listen to every album that's dropped.
Yeah.
But if you in the aspect where you can't, okay, so 2 albums got dropped today. I listened to maybe half of the first album. Then 2 weeks later, another content got dropped. I ain't even finished the first 2, but I'm still trying to catch up to the third album that got dropped. And then like 2 months later, another album got dropped or an EP, and I'm just like,
it doesn't become enjoyable because it's just like, well, damn,
I gotta listen to all this.
I gotta listen to all of this, and I didn't even get the chance to listen to the first one.
And then you gotta try to base your judgment of listening off of what you originally heard or what it is that you heard off of the new content that was dropped.
I have a question for you, La. How did we go from a microwave generation to a stovetop generation? You know, like how we transition back to something.
Okay, so I'm gonna break that down and answer your question. So when you say, all right, so when you say the microwave generation, as in, you feel me, it's just hella content that's pushed out within a short aspect of time, to the stovetop generation where we had to sit and simmer on an album for like 3 or 4 months before the next project. Not even 3, 4 months, maybe even a year to 2 years. I say that contrast came because of the fact that at the end of the day, you look at the times that we're dealing with, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the generation of music changed due to our social media platforms.
True. Yeah, hella exposure to hella things now. Yeah.
Like back in the day, it was just Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Shout out to MySpace, you feel me?
Yeah.
R.I.P. And then now you turn around, you got TikTok, you got Snapchat, you got Instagram still, Twitter. You have so many. R.I.P. Vine, you feel me? Vine was a lot of the aspect of people getting their music out there because like you could go crazy on Vine and then not be popping on Instagram.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like you feel me? You use these different platforms to push what it is that you're trying to put out in terms of content, and that really made or break where it is that you are as an artist. You feel me? Like, I don't know if y'all know, it's kind of a rap song, but Guns and Bells by what's that man's name?
Guns and Bells.
Yeah,
I don't know him.
You feel me?
his name
Like
either, but
the first time I heard it was on Vine,
yeah.
and then like gave it like 6-7 months, turned around and he blew up on another platform, and then everybody was like, "Yo, who's this song by?" And then next thing I knew, you feel me? He was on Apple Music. He was on YouTube. He was already on YouTube because that was his main platform of pushing the song. But you know what I'm saying? Like him just even pushing it on Vine took him to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So like that, I feel like is the difference between, you feel me, the stovetop generation and the microwave generation.
That's real. That's real. I appreciate the answer, man. Also, I just want to throw in there as far as like R&B for the male artists, and when I said earlier that rap, contributed to that downfall, because when you listen to artists like Tory Lanez, like when I first heard him, I literally thought he was an R&B singer, but then they were like, no, he's a rapper, and I'm like, what? And I go back and listen to his old stuff. I'm like, okay, so
he's a rapper that does R&B.
Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, he's that he has blurred those lines, and I guess the lines between R&B and hip hop have become so blurred now. It's like a male R&B artist, as far as mainstream is concerned, can't find their way into that. But then you've got so many artists out there, like you mentioned earlier, Xavier Omar, Masego. Like you have artists that are still out there that put out content.
So, like, would y'all say that nowadays the hip hop rap genre is now R&B as R&B artists?
No.
Okay, follow up question. So, who do you say is the distinction between hip hop and rap? And you can go underground artists, you can go mainstream artists.
I'll start at mainstream. The distinction would be you got
I'm trying to find good.
I was like, I'm thinking of a good one. I would even say Tiana Taylor. She's a good definition of R&B. She definitely brings back that emotion, that like love, that
her
soul.
last album. Love it.
The album?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Great album.
Yes.
Okay, that
Great
was an
album. Yes. And then I guess like Tiana Taylor and like Lil Uzi. Like, I mean,
Okay,
two totally different fields,
two totally different fields. Like I'm gonna be on the side of more so like, for example, like J. Cole. He definitely raps.
Yeah.
He definitely raps. Versus no,
Would you consider J. Cole more like modern hip hop though?
I feel like he's modern hip hop. Let's, for example, Nas. That's hip hop. That's rap.
Yes.
Nas is rap. J. Cole is modern hip hop. So it's just like.
But is that not one and the same?
It's not one and the same.
I feel like it's elements. They're like sub elements within elements of genres. I feel like all of that stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, like they're all cousins.
Like,
okay,
because you got
so
R&B and you
follow up question. What is going to distinct in today, as in 2020, as hip hop, and what distinct as R&B?
I mean, comes with the topics, comes with the instrumentation.
Yeah, topics.
Comes with,
hip hop is not more. Hip hop is a lot more. It's, I want to say R&B
shoot 'em up, bang bang. They're not talking about shooting them up in R&B.
They're not trying to shoot you up.
They're not trying to fuck the club up in R&B.
Everybody's in their feelings, and it's about love, and it's hip hop is more just like that. It's the fast life. It's the
we're not talking about Christian Dior. We're not doing that. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke.
I didn't mean to laugh at that, man, because his death is tragic. But the way she said that.
But like, I get you. We ain't talking about Christian Dior no more. Like,
Baby, welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party. But yeah, as you've said, it all comes down to, I guess, content and topics, because R&B is not going to touch those same subjects. It's still going to be more about, I guess, in a sense, more about love, or at least different feelings that relate to love in this generation, as
It's
opposed
just more
to
so, it's just on the emotion side. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, because not even like lovey-dovey, like I want to like marry you, have my babies, but
Yeah.
like
just
I mean,
being in that-
heartbreak.
Yeah,
You know, it has so many elements. in
So follow up question. You feel me?
you got a lot of
Times
follow-up
five
questions, bro.
Hey, I gotta make it real.
Yeah.
So back in the day, it was about love making, you feel me, family type shit. Nowadays, what distincts the past to now?
I mean, family models, like you go into family structure at that point, because I mean, people are art is literally a reflection of expression and experiences. So it's
Mhm.
like a lot of people are rapping about what they're surrounded by, their environments. I mean, there's not a lot of households with a mom and a dad in them nowadays, to be quite frank. I mean, I'm not pulling out no statistics or nothing, but that's just not what you see as frequently anymore. So I think that's why you don't get a lot of that content like you used to, because it's like not really the dynamic of, like, you know, family at this point in time.
The family
for real.
aspect.
Got you. Do you also think that perhaps the industry, like, I guess it relates to like certain R&B artists and certain R&B groups, that they just don't want to deal with the headache of dealing with their personalities and dealing with money fights, or just and things in general like that, things that will commonly break up an R&B group or things like that. Do you think that the industry now is just like, no, we don't want to deal with that?
I feel like I don't want to say the industry doesn't want to deal with that, but they're just not on that type. I would say that they're not on that wave of having to deal with like a R&B band. Like, you don't see a lot of R&B. You don't see R&B bands. Most of them are a lot of
Danny Kane no more.
You don't need that. You know, Danny Kane. Okay.
Let's go say Danny Kane, Day 26.
Gucci this, Gucci that, like booty. Okay.
Like mindless behaviors no
mindless
more.
behavior.
And that's another thing
because
I want to talk
politics get
about.
into it.
Y'all, we used to have groups of artists who had music for our age.
Yeah.
They don't really have that anymore.
No.
Like Lil Nas X is the closest to that. But now instead, they listening to the music we listening to. Like, where's the music for the younger generation? For
That
them
was
to vibe
Kids
to?
Bop.
I know, because we weren't listening to Kids Bop, but we was listening to Little Mama, and we was listening to Chris Brown. We was listening to Jacob Lattimore, Mindless Behavior, OMG Girls, Jawan Harris, all of those artists. Where are they at? You know, is it not cool for kids to be famous anymore, I guess?
I think it's more so just like the pressure.
Blurred line.
It's blurred lines. and
Everything, just exposure.
The pressure. Like, at that age, is like, all right, I'm young, and the industry is such a cutthroat industry.
I told y'all. Look.
The industry is cutthroat as hell. And
Like,
so
I
it's
feel like
being young and being in the industry is kind of like, that's a lot to take in. Because I feel like, you know, those artists, you know, that we listen to, like Jacob Lattimore, G Girls, all this stuff, that was more so just for them to do something fun. You know?
But I feel like our generation, we really dove off of Chris Brown. You feel me? Run It. You feel me? A lot of the tracks that he had, they weren't out the way that we couldn't listen to him around our elders. You know what I'm saying? It was more so the fact that, like, he's our age.
He's our age.
You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times now, kids don't have people the same age as them that they can relate back to. You don't have, like, and it's in accordance to what you're saying. Like, a lot of kids nowadays don't have the same artists that are putting out music that relates to them. Us, we had Chris Brown, Trey Songz to a degree.
That was really on the verge of, like, okay, like, I don't know, when did Trey Songz It's like Trey Songz like really hitting for us. Like I feel like Trey Songz was really hitting for us when we was in like high school.
Yeah, especially
Okay.
for me, like, cause he debuted when I was on my way to high school. So yeah,
Like,
You feel
when
me?
we
So
was on
like,
our verse
but
to high
even
school,
still,
you
like,
know.
he was. I'm not gonna say he was putting out content for us. He was putting out content so that he could become mainstream, so that he could put his name out there. But it just so happened that our demographic was able to relate to what he was putting out.
yeah, I think. And all in all, as you guys hit on some interesting points here, but like looking at it now, I definitely don't see any artists, or at least any R&B artists right now that are, you know, that can relate to at least the younger generation, at least not right now, because everybody is pretty much, if they're not in our demographic, they're like, you know, in the college demographic, or they're trying to relate to the college demographic. So with that being said, this has definitely been
But you
a.
gotta think, like the college demographic, they're getting younger.
You're right.
They're entering college at a younger age.
Yeah.
Like when I left Hampton, like some of the freshmen that I knew
Mm-hmm.
were still like 17,
17, 18.
17, 18. So I'm just
Guilty.
yeah. So it's like we still haven't. The generation still hasn't even reached that era in which we did,
Mm-hmm.
because we got exposed to a different demographic. We got
Yeah.
exposed to a different demographic where the artist was speaking more so on adult things. Like
Mhm.
a lot more adult content was coming out,
Yeah.
even though they were our age. You know what I'm saying?
Very
so it's
true.
just like, you know, at the end of the day, it's more just comes back to like, God, finding that balance in.
Yeah, definitely. This has been a very riveting conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I definitely appreciate it here. Before we step out, I did just want to ask if there are any artists that are out right now that you guys want to plug in right now, so that the audience might be able to, you know, go out and listen to them.
I have so many people. Listen to Ravina. Listen to, of course, Masego.
Mhm.
Listen to Shy Hunter. Listen to Alexis Isley. I think that's her name. What is it? Into Orbit. I love that song. Moonchild, y'all. I love them. They so
Moonchild-
good. Oh my god.
Moonchild is bomb.
Bomb.
Also listen to
I'm gonna plug Shmino in real quick.
Oh,
Plug
definitely,
Shmino, like-
definitely.
Yes.
Shmino.
Cleo Soul.
Cleo Soul. Yes.
Ari put me
I
onto
put
that, like-
yes. Oh my gosh, she's fire.
Okay, listen.
Fire. Cleo Soul, amazing.
Young
like
Love.
if you need a background singer, I got you, sister.
Young
Mhm.
Love, that is my song.
Yes. Chloe and Halle, like, come on
Yes.
now.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
doing the thing, okay?
You talking about
And
the
I feel
twins,
like,
right?
yeah,
But
I
they're
feel
not
like
the
they're
twins, but
definitely
yeah.
bringing R&B back.
Oh, they're definitely back.
Yeah.
Especially it's because they are our age,
Yes.
and the fact that they're so advanced for
Mhm.
their age.
Very.
So
I just want to. I'm thinking of more artists to get y'all hip to. Jacob Collier, Leanne
Okay.
Havas.
Okay.
Jacob Collier.
Yeah, that man, he make your toes tingle.
Jacob Collier is actually that one artist that really will have you like jump through a phone.
Y'all
and, like,
listen
slap
to
somebody like
Oh.
yes.
because he's that is that ridiculous.
For real.
Like chord changes and everything.
Y'all getting a Scoozy too. That's our
Yep.
brother Scoozy. We
Yep,
love
please. Scoozy is a colleague of ours, so if you
Phenomenal.
haven't listened to him, please go listen to him.
Mhm.
him.
Um,
Ari Lennox.
yes.
Ari Lennox.
I know.
NASA.
Ari Lachelle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Zay Blaze.
Zay Blaze, of course.
Heather Fanatic.
Be Smooth Production.
Okay,
Yes.
let me play Heather on the map real quick.
Heather
Because
is bomb.
Heather is bomb.
RJ
Yes.
Stackhouse.
RJ Stackhouse for
Yes.
sure.
James.
143
Yes.
Imogen.
Zay Blaze.
Yes. James he just dropped
Just dropped an album, and I'm
Yeah.
actually about to go listen to that now. Well, with that being said, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. once again, thank you, ladies, for being on this episode today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm
Much
definitely
love,
yes.
much love.
If nothing else, I might bring Nasa back on because I know that Ari, you about to be
I'm moving, baby.
Yeah.
I'm moving.
So and I hate to see you go, but I know you gotta get that money, and I know you gotta make a name for yourself. Yes.
Sir.
So all right, guys. With that being said, thank you for joining me for episode 4. Just keep your head up while you're out there, guys. Continue to fight the good fight. Remember, Black Lives Matter. Please continue to march. Do not forget where we have come from and where we are going. We still got a long way to go.
Know your rights.
Yes, please.
Exercise them expeditiously, but also be smart within your exercising.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. God is love. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace.
1.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and go back and listen to all the other previous episodes as well. Be sure to follow Chaotic Culture Pod on Instagram, as well as my personal page, Ked the Pro, that's K3D the Pro. Be sure to like the page on Facebook, as well as follow me on Twitter at ProKed the Great. That's PROK3D the GR3AT. If you like this beat, shout out to RJ Stackhouse. Be sure that you also follow him on Instagram as well. And I hope that we have been able to bless your ears today. Until next time, folks, this has been Ked the Pro with Chaotic Culture Pod. Be blessed, be safe, God is love. Peace.